It appears we have a special guest today, so you might see a little bit of Kiko. He is my first fur baby. You might see a little bit of him popping in here because he wanted to lay on my lap, but maybe he doesn't anymore since I started opening this up and recording it. So I wanted to pull a question from Instagram that I got, and if you don't know me and you've just stumbled across my page, that's totally fine. Welcome. Hello, I'm Catarina, and I am an integrative holistic health coach. And I have been having my own practice, coaching practice for the last 5 years. And the layers that I just keep going through are just getting so freaking good. So I am obsessed, completely obsessed with the work that I do and the work that I do with clients. And it is truly life-changing. I have experienced my own work myself from where I was dealing with hormonal issues, gut issues, detox issues, low progesterone, you name it. Maybe that is a video I can do for another day, just more in depth of sharing my story. But I want to bring up a question that I got from Instagram. And the question was, how long do I need to spend working on drainage pathways before detox or a cleanse? So I want to dive into this question a little bit more. There's a few components here I'd like to address. But if you aren't familiar with what this question is asking on the concepts of drainage pathways, then you're not really going to understand this question. So I want to kind of break down this question and answer it in a way that I can fully expand upon rather than something very short in Instagram and just limited in character. So it's important to know what drainage pathways are and what supporting your drainage pathways is meant to be doing and why this is important before trying to detox your body. This is something that I say across a lot in my work, but you cannot force your body to detox. Yes, your liver and your body is working every single day to detox for you, but the amount of stressors, the amount of toxins, the amount of chemicals, the amount of dieting, all the shit that our body is trying to do, our detox can get limited. So let's say, for example, or our detox can get sluggish. So let's just say the example of constipation. If you are not having a bowel movement every day, I don't care how much you've normalized that, that's not a good sign. That is a sign of sluggish detox. That is a sign that we are backed up quite literally. And if we're not excreting it out, it's going to be pushed further up our drainage pathways, continuing to impact all the other things. So makes a lot of sense if you struggle with constipation. You probably struggle with acne, or maybe you don't now because maybe you did some sort of treatment on it and you're currently in Accutane or something like that. But there is a very, very strong correlation between constipation and acne or skin related issues and having bad breath, bad body, thyroid related issues, being more sluggish thyroid. So it all makes sense. This all makes sense. So your drainage is supporting your drainage pathways are essentially using these organs and systems to be able to actually do the detox properly. So you cannot detox without supporting and opening your drainage pathways to get it out. So I like to use this garbage disposal analogy because it made a lot of sense for me. Also in the concepts of everybody tells you to, just eat more fiber if you're constipated. And that might not always work because of this concept of your drainage pathways are like a funnel. The very bottom of your funnel is your colon. So this is you, AKA using the example, you're not shitting, is if we're not excreting it out through the bottom of our funnel, where is the shit gonna go? Quite literally. If this is blocked, right? It's going to go up and it's going to go and get pushed out, and it's going to be pushed out through another backup system. So when you think of this funnel like a drain, and your sink and your drain is clogged, imagine trying to force more stuff down it because it's not actually going all the way through. That doesn't ever work. It gets backed up, right? So even when you push stuff down, it's going to continue to get backed up and it's going to get worse. So adding more fiber onto a situation where you're not actually excreting things out in a timely manner is going to continue to build up and cause more issues, and that's not always the option. So when we talk about drainage, it's kind of like a pre-tox. So you can't make your body detox or force it to detox without allowing the pathways to be open to be able to detox properly. So drainage is like a pre-tox. And if the garbage disposal analogy works for you, we need to clear the gunk out, open up the pathway for all the stuff to go through. Your drainage pathway at the bottom, like I said, like a funnel system, the bottom is like your colon, and it continues to move up with your liver, with your bile, with your gallbladder, and it goes back up to your lungs, your skin, your kidneys, and it continues to go up into your lymphatic system. So that's your lymph pathway. It goes up into your organs and tissues, aka your brain. So your brain actually goes through a detox process called glymphatics. And it's essentially when you're sleeping and getting REM sleep, your glymphatic pathway is pulling, number one, neurotoxins and getting it out of your brain, but also it is processing emotions and memories and things that you want to keep from the previous day or what doesn't matter, and let's just let this go away. So that is at the almost the very top, and the very top of your drainage pathway or this, funnel is your cells, like your mitochondria, the very cellular part of you, the very thing that gets things going, that gets movement and action happening, mitochondria. So I want to address that first in the question of what is drainage pathways, in case some of you are listening to this and you're not familiar in that question of how long do I need to spend working on drainage pathways before a detox and cleanse. Let's get real clear on what your drainage pathways are and what opening your drainage pathways can look like and feel like and be like. So some ways to open your drainage pathways is like getting into a sauna. And the important part of a sauna or sitting into a warm bath is to have that sweat aspect. A lot of people think, let's say, for example, they went drinking, and you've probably heard somebody say they need to sweat out the toxins, and they go and do like this insane workout to like get a huge sweat going, and they're like, yeah, like I detoxed all from yesterday's shit. And the truth is you didn't, because you can only detox in states of rest and digest, which is why when you're stressed out, you're not shitting properly, because your body knows well enough that if it's in a state of fight or flight, or the intensity or the activity, even though working out is generally a good thing, there's an intensity involved. And that pulls us out of being in this like regulated state, this rest and digest state, to we have to take some action. We got to move. We got to get going. And that halts our digestion. So if it's halting our digestion because we're pumping all of our nutrients and our blood to our muscles to move, we're not keeping it within the digestion. It's expanding outwards. It's not pulling inwards. So the whole concept that I'm just going to sweat out all my toxins by going for a super intense workout, you're actually not. You're not detoxing well. You're actually not detoxing at all, because we detox in states of rest and digest, or if you're familiar with nervous system states, the parasympathetic nervous system state. So actually being in a sauna where you're resting, you're sitting there, you're resting, maybe you're meditating, maybe you're listening to like relaxing music, and add in a bonus of like an infrared is targeting deeper underneath your skin to your cells. And so that is even more powerful, opening of your drainage pathways through opening your skin, which shocks. Moving your body, moving your lymph. Your lymph is your waste system as well, your byproducts. So moving your body prevents stagnation. What's stagnation relate to? The constipation example. Things are stagnant, things are backed up, things are clogged, things are bogged down. So when we can move our body, we're moving enough throughout the day, we're walking, we're not for long hours with uninterrupted movement and things like that. Desk jobs, all this stuff is correlated to moving lymph in our body, and dry brushing helps support this. But I just got a rebounder, so it's like a mini trampoline, and this is even more so powerful to help pull and move and allow the lymph waste and byproducts to continue to move through our body without stagnancy, because they follow the same system as our blood vessels, our veins, and it doesn't have its own pump. It doesn't have a pump. So the way that it's moved is through movement, because of the muscles kind of like squeezing and pushing that to continue to circulate through our circulatory system, because it follows the same pathway as that. So moving your body, having muscles continue to like pump a little bit to push it all around is super supportive of moving your lymph. So that's another good drainage pathway to support. Rebounding, like I said, as my favorite. If you don't have a rebounder, that's totally fine. Just bounce up and down on your tiptoes, or just do calf 30 seconds. Big six is another one that is super awesome, and I like to do big six to open up those lymphatic points before I do lymphatic drainage, before I do some sauna, before I do maybe a castor oil pack, before I do gusha, things like that, to continue to keep it open. Putting some lemon and lime not only contain potassium, but they're also acidic, and that acid, the bitterness of it, stimulates our liver, and that is a system that is a part of our drainage pathways. So having that with some little sea salt in the morning, drinking lukewarm water, not super cold, because cold's gonna like stagnate. A cold body doesn't process things well, it processes it more slowly. So having some lukewarm, or maybe even warm like hot tea or something, to continue to nourish that, open up your drainage pathways. Drinking filtered water, that's, I think, goes without saying that filtered water is filtered. We want to add minerals back in there, because when you filter out the toxins, the chemicals, the medications that's in the tap water, the fluoride, you name it, the heavy metals, we also can be sometimes getting rid of those minerals that are found in water as well, from sourced in the ground. But you want to add those minerals back in. So minerals and nourishment with minerals is an important part of opening your drainage pathways. Alternating some hot and cold showers to continue to open up those skin pores to breathe. Castor oil packs, we love them. My favorite are the lip, but there are thyroid packs. There are, I think, just maybe stomach packs. I forget what they're actually called, but they're a little bit bigger for more wider spaces. Although I just use my liver pack sometimes over my womb, and I can kind of do both with that one. Coffee enemas, getting sunlight, getting outside, getting in nature areas. Again, going back to moving your body, letting sunlight hit your eyes to regulate your circadian rhythm so that the rest of your body clock follows with that timeline. There's so many things you can do. Tongue scraping, breathing exercises through our lungs to support our lungs, as that is a drainage pathway as well. There's so many different things that you can do. There's specific teas that you can drink that stimulate your liver. There's so much here that's involved in opening your drainage pathway. So I like to, instead of seeing this as you have to do every single one of these, that can be super overwhelming, I like to tell my clients that just pick 1 to 3 of these to do every day, and you can stack some of these on every single day without thinking you're like checking so many things off the list, because trying to be so rigid and strict and follow something to hit it exactly is also missing the point, because we need to be in states of rest and digest, right? So being super strict and rigid and feeling like you have to do this perfectly, and if not, you're a failure, that continues to block us, right? Because that's stopping us from having this like ebb and flow. This is stopping us from being in more of a regulated state. This is stopping us from being able to achieve open drainage pathways when you're having stress come into the conversation. And that's where perfectionism causes stress. So getting back to the question, we've talked about what drainage pathways are, and this specific person is asking, how long do I need to spend on that? I think this is very layered, and maybe I'm going to ask you some questions that can help you decide what that answer is for you, because I hope that you find through my work and through work like myself and people having this conversation is, I think we're very much in a time that we need to know exactly what to do, and we need somebody to tell us exactly how long, and again, kind of following this, like, if I don't do this perfectly right, then I can't do it at all. And I also think we are living in a time of we're so fixated on how much time something will have. How much time do I need to spend doing this? Because ultimately what we're saying is we don't want to spend a lot of time. What's the quickest way? This quick fix, this microwave society is exactly what we're all like looking for, is how quickly can I get this done? How quick can I cook food and eat it to still support my body? Like, how can we make cooking such a small amount of time that I can do what is the alternate? Like, what's the other thing that you're doing? Which is a very interesting conversation, maybe for another time and for another video, of just people wanting to have quick fix, get things done quickly. And it's like, what is that time you're actually doing if you're trying to cut down all this time? And people are on their phones. Look at your average screen time. Like, you can't tell me you're asking to create more time in the day when you're just spending in areas that are like very questionable, of like, so you're cutting time of supporting your health and things that make you feel good and support longevity in like choosing things that aren't like truly aren't. And it's also interesting, a lot of women will come to me and they say they don't have enough time in the day. And that is, a very first sign that I know that they're overwhelmed, that they're overstimulated, and that they are making their way to burnout because they are in a state of thinking about time and that they don't have enough time. And when you are in states of looking about time and how much, time this is and blah, 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 you are not grounded. Because when you are in the present moment, actually thinking about time doesn't happen. You're not thinking about the future. You're not thinking about the past. You're here right now where life is actually happening. And it's interesting if you hear somebody say like, oh, I just lost track of time. I was in the moment. That's what that's talking about, is when you're grounded and you're in the present moment and the space and the life where things are happening, you're not really focused on time. So it's interesting. So I want you to kind of sit with this as well, of like, what are we really asking for? How long? Are you asking for this in regards to, I'm looking to see what time I need to spend to make sure I do this exactly right? This is the one layer to that I wanted to ask. And then 2 is, what detox or what are you cleansing? What is your goal? What are you trying to rid your body of? Is this of mycotoxins or mold? Is this you're trying to detox heavy metals? Is this you're trying to detox viruses? Is this you're trying to detox chemicals? Do you have something that you know that you need to detox? Have you done any sort of functional health testing? Or have you done, maybe you're very intuitive and you've done some muscle testing and you know that you have this. Are you looking to detox candida? Are you looking to get rid of candida? Are you looking to detox estrogen more efficiently? Are you looking to detox lead? Are you looking to detox parasites? What is the thing that you're looking to detox? Because that makes a difference in this whole thing. Let's say you're wanting to detox and cleanse or get rid of heavy metals. Well, you're going to be working on drainage a while and also doing other things prior to trying to force your body to detox heavy metals, because that's not a first place to start. There are layers to that. So you might be spending 3-4 months opening drainage pathways, and maybe even 1 month. This just kind of depends on, also, here's a third layer of where you're at in supporting the foundations. What have you been doing for yourself outside of drainage pathways? How have you been nourishing yourself? Are you eating frequent meals? Are you eating nutrient-dense food? Have you been opting for like low toxin, non-tox things? Have you been supporting your stress and how to navigate that? Have you been holding space for emotions and emotional processing? How are your drainage pathways? Are you excreting things in a timely manner? How are you having bowel movements? Have you looked at your minerals? Have you been mineralizing yourself? Do you have brain fog? Do you have some sort of actions, any flu-like symptoms? Are you having any breakouts, rashes? What is kind of going on? Because that's going to make a difference in this answer of what time do you need to spend doing your drainage pathways. So I will say, in a lot of studies and a lot of books and research onto detoxing is they like to say this like golden rule of 30 days. 30 days of supporting your drainage pathways, and then you can go on to the first layer of detoxing, which is parasite cleansing. So this totally depends on those 3 layers that I talked about. What are you looking to detox and cleanse? How have you been supporting your drainage pathways? How long have you been doing it? What have you been noticing with supporting your drainage pathways? How have you been feeling? Any symptoms starting to pop up? Any recirculation? Any Herx reactions starting to pop up? And how have you been supporting the foundations? Those are 3 things that I would like you to weigh into your answer, your truth for this question in order to decide what this would look like for you and what are you stepping into after supporting your drainage pathways. Where are you at right now? Where are you trying to go? And kind of sitting with this question of like time. Maybe that's not something that you were thinking about, but like what is this time aspect that we're looking for? So I don't know if this will resonate with anybody, but if this probably found your way and you came across this video, this is probably resonating with you. This is probably something that you're interested in. So if you would like some support and some help with detoxing and what it looks like, how that process goes, how to support the foundations, things that you should be looking out for, how you should be doing testing, if you need to do testing, all the variances and the nuances into the layers of your health and vibrancy and what your body is experiencing and the signs and symptoms that it is giving to you as a way to navigate through it. And if you don't know the signs that your body is giving you, this is something that I do very, very well with my clients, is getting them to start to understand what the language of their body is saying, that they can align with it too, and we get to work together to find what your truth is by listening to your body. Literally, it's biofeedback for how to navigate and what that will look like to navigate together. So if you'd like more information on this, drop in the comments below, and you can always check me out on my Instagram where I'm much more present on there. I am much more involved in that space. That seems to be the space for me and where I share my work. So I would love to see you there.